Hey YouTubers, my name is Amanda and this is my very first YouTube video, so bear with me. I may say a lot, just kind of grit your teeth and get through it. There we go. So we got the first one out of the way. My goal with this YouTube channel is to address domestic violence because it is so shameful. And by that I don't mean that we should be shameful. I mean that so many of us that are in those situations have shame. We feel shame. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want anybody to know about it. It's just one of those things that the control that our abusers have over us prevents us from really talking the way we should be talking, the way I'm talking to you right now. So we need to talk about it. Let's get it over with. Let's get it out there. Let's help people who need to be helped. Let's do something about it. Stop sitting back and saying, oh, that's okay. It doesn't happen to me, so it doesn't matter. Or they'll deal with it in their own time, in their own way. And yes, that's true to a degree. But you can have some interventions. But there are also issues around that we will discuss in coming weeks. How to address somebody in a domestic violence situation. How to keep them from getting defensive about the situation, because we do. We defend the people who abuse us. We do. It just happens. And, well, it doesn't just happen. We'll talk about it. We'll try and understand why it happens and what we can do on the outside looking in to try and help that situation. But there are a couple of things I want to get out of the way first. One, I am not a counselor. I have not been educated to counsel anybody. I am simply doing a vlog talking about my experiences, talking about my opinions, and if your opinions differ from mine, let me know. Write a comment. Tell me about it. I'm glad to hear it. The other thing I want to talk about is we're not going to talk about everything all at one time. We're going to take this in sections, because domestic violence, you can't just sit here and talk for 5 minutes and get the whole thing out of the way. It really is different, little sections. The first thing I want to talk about today would be actions speaking louder than words. Every time your abuser says, I promise you this, and I promise you that, whether it's I promise to get a job, I promise to do better, I promise to not hit you anymore, I promise to respect you more, I promise to show you I love you more, whatever it may be that they're promising you. If this is not the first time they've promised you, and it's been months, if not years, that this promise, the same promise has been coming up, if you've noticed a pattern with the words being said, then you need to rest assured it's just words. If they wanted to change, they could change, but chances are they've either got a mental illness like bipolar or schizophrenia or something like that that's going on, or they don't want to change. If they're not actively seeking help, they don't want to change. Did you hear me? If they're not actively seeking help, if they're not on medication, talking to a psychologist, talking to a psychiatrist, going to a counselor, talking to somebody professional, not me, not you, they need to go to a professional counselor and seek help. If they're not, they don't want to change. And they're not going to change. You can believe that. Okay? They're not going to. We want to believe that they can change, and they can. It's not that they can't. They can. The problem is they can't do it by themselves. Okay? And you aren't going to be able to help them get there. They have to talk to somebody who has a degree in helping people work through these problems. If they're not willing to do that, give it up. Give it up. Because you're going to be going through the same hell you're going through now, over and over and over and over again, because they're not seeking professional help. Actions speak louder than words. when they promise you, I'm going to stop, and they turn around and a week from then they hit you again. Or a week from then they hit your children. Or a week from then they quit their job. Or whatever it may be that they're doing that's negatively impacting your life. And I don't mean small things like not doing the dishes and stuff like that. I mean those things you're going to deal with in any relationship. But when they purposely do something to destruct the structure of the home, preventing you from being able to pay your bills completely 100%, there's a problem. When they beat you or hit you and leave marks, maybe in an attempt to get you to lose your job, that's destructive. Hitting you, period, is destructive. Don't get me wrong. But doing things to purposely sabotage any success that you have, yeah, those actions speak louder than any words of I love you, I promise, ... I've been there. I am fresh out. 4+ years, and I just quit. I'm recovering myself. I'm not giving you advice. I'm giving you things to look for. Because it's one thing when somebody's never been in that situation before. I'll tell you, this will be my story for the day, and then I'll cut it off and I won't, videotape anymore tonight. I had a friend who, when I did tell her what was going on, she said to me, and I love you, girl, she said to me, I would never let a man treat me like that. I would be out that door. Honey, not me. Right? Okay. A couple weeks later, I'm sad to say, I'm not happy that this happened, but I'm sad to say that she apologized. Because, and her words to me were, unless you're in a situation, you have no idea what you're going to do. So what she told me that day wasn't necessarily true. She wanted to believe that she would be tough enough. And we all want to believe that we are tough people, and we are tough people, to put up with what we have put up with. We're tough. We're really tough. But when it came down to it, she allowed somebody to do the same thing to her. Before you judge somebody in the situation that they're in, if you're not in an abusive relationship and you're looking at this like, oh, this is crazy, stop and think. Have you ever been in a situation that you previously thought, this is how I would handle that situation? And then find yourself dealing with the fact that you're in that situation and you didn't handle it the way you thought you would? Just think on that. And thank you for watching. And maybe next week we'll have another video. Actions speak louder than words. They're not showing you that they love you. The words don't mean anything. Good night.